All right, hi guys, this is the walkthrough for the tangent lines in circles worksheet. So number 1 and 2, they're asking to find the value of x, which is one of the angles. So um, we're going to use the first theorem from the notes for tangent lines, that the radius and the tangent line are perpendicular, right? The radius of a circle and a tangent line are going to be perpendicular, so that means they're going to form right angles. So if we look here at number 1, right, where our radius meets our tangent line, right? A tangent line is the line that intersects the circle at one point. So we have a tangent line, we have a radius, they're going to form a right angle. Let me zoom in a little more. Oops. Okay. So you're going to have a right angle here, if I can draw it properly. All right, so that's 90 degrees. And then we know the three angles of a triangle add up to 180, so we could do 180 minus 90 minus 58, which is going to give us 32 degrees. Okay. The second one, again, we have two tangent lines, but each tangent line is going to be perpendicular to the radius. So here we have a tangent line that intersects at one point and a radius, so it's going to form a right angle. Same over here as well. So we're going to have 90 degrees, 130 degrees, and then x. So we have a quadrilateral, and we know the four angles of a quadrilateral add up to 360. So we should then be able to find x. We got three of the angles, we just need to find the fourth. All right, number 3. In each diagram, AB is ray AB is tangent to circle C at point B. Find the value of x. So since we have a tangent line and a radius, we have a right angle. Since we have a triangle with a right angle, we have a right triangle. And since we have a right triangle, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So we know that a squared plus b squared is going to be equal to c squared. A and b are the two legs of your right triangle, so we know x and 8 are your legs. So x squared plus 8 squared equals our hypotenuse squared. Our hypotenuse here is going to be x plus 2, right? This piece is x, this piece is 2, so the whole hypotenuse is going to be x plus 2. So it's going to be x plus 2 squared. So here we have x squared plus 8 squared is 64 equals, and then I'm going to do this over here. So we have x plus 2 times x plus 2. That's what x plus 2 squared means, x plus 2 twice. All right, then you can FOIL. So first is x times x, which is x squared. Outer is x times 2, which is 2x. Inner is 2 times x, is 2x. And then last is 2 times 2, which is 4. So that's going to be x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in over here. X squared plus 4x plus 4. Right, a squared plus b squared is c squared. X and 8 are the two legs, so x squared plus 8 squared. And then x plus 2 squared was your hypotenuse, and we simply multiplied those out. So now we have x squared plus 64 equals x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay, we can subtract x squared from both sides. All right, so those cancel. We're left with 64 equals 4x plus 4. We can subtract 4 from both sides. So that's going to be 60 equals 4x. Then we can divide both sides by 4. And we get 15 equals x. All right, so this is 15, this is 15. So we would have 8 and 15 as our legs, and 8 squared plus 15 squared is going to equal 17 squared. So 15 plus 2 is 17. All right. And then over here, we're going to do something similar. So again, 3 is our radius, so we know this would be 3. right? BC would be 3. And then we know AC is going to be 3 plus 7, which is 10, right? So your legs are going to be 3 and x. So 3 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared, and then you can find x. All right. 5 and 6, so very similar, except they use r instead of x. All right. So we're really going to do the same thing here, right? We have a tangent line, right? Segment AB is tangent. So we have a right angle. The two legs here are r and 4. So we're going to do, again, a squared. I'll do it over here. A squared, right? Again, though, this is number 5. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a and b are the two legs, so that's going to be r and 4. So we're going to have r squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. So your hypotenuse is r plus 2. So r plus 2 squared. Okay, so it's r squared plus 16 equals, and then r plus 2 times r plus 2. Right, first outer, inner, last, that's going to be r squared plus 2r plus 2r, then plus 4. Right, so that's r squared plus 4r plus 4. So if we put that in over here, we have r squared plus 4r plus 4. Right, we can subtract r squared from both sides. Right, we can subtract 4 from both sides. Right, that's going to give us 12 equals 4r. And then when you divide by 4, we get 3 equals r. Right, so we have the value then of r, which is 3. Right, so 3 squared plus 4 squared is going to equal 3 plus 2 is going to be 5 squared. Right, so 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. So we're good. Okay, and then 6 is pretty much the same, right? R and 12 are your A and your B, and then R plus 8 would be your hypotenuse. Okay, 7 and 8, we want to determine whether or not AB is a tangent line. So we need, in order to determine if it's a tangent line, we need to determine if it is perpendicular to the radius. If it was perpendicular to the radius, this would be a right angle. Okay, and to check and see if that's a right angle, we need to check and see if it's a right triangle. So our legs would be 5 and 15, right? So 5 squared plus 15 squared equals 17 squared. So that's 25 plus 225 equals 17 squared is, let me check real quick. We'll do it up here. I don't remember. It's kind of embarrassing. 269, right? Oops. 49. $289. I knew that for sure. All right, so 225 plus 225 is going to be 250. 250 does not equal 289, right? Therefore, we know a squared plus b squared does not equal c squared, so it's not a right triangle. So this is not a right angle. And since that's not a right angle, it's not a tangent line. Okay, not tangent line because it's not a right triangle. We know it's not a right triangle because a squared plus b squared does not equal c squared. 5 squared plus 15 squared does not equal 17 squared. Okay, 8, you do the same thing. If 5 squared plus 14 squared equals 15 squared, then it's a right triangle. So it is a tangent line because you have a right angle and they're perpendicular. The radius of the tangent line would be perpendicular. If a squared plus b squared does not equal c squared, so 5 squared plus 14 squared does not equal 15 squared, then it's not a right triangle, so you don't have a right angle. So the radius and the line aren't perpendicular, which means they're not, that it's, the line is not a tangent line. Right? 9 here. So now we're going to start using our other theorem. We know that if we have two tangent lines that meet at an exterior point, they're going to be congruent. Those segments, the segments of those tangent lines are going to be congruent from the point of tangency to the exterior point where they meet. So AB is going to be congruent to BC, so X is going to be equal to 15. Okay, X is equal to 15. Down here, again, AB is a tangent line, and BC are tangents. So AB and BC are congruent, so we can do X minus 24 equals 50, right? And then you can just add 24 to both sides, so X is going to be equal to 74. Right, pretty straightforward. Okay, and then here's some questions using that theorem, right? If the tangent lines meet at an exterior point, those segments are going to be congruent. So if in 11, if this is 4, this one over here is also 4. If this is 3, this one's also 3. If this is 5, this one is also 5, right? So 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5, right? These two pieces are congruent. These two pieces would be congruent. And then these two pieces would be congruent, right? Because they're tangent lines that meet an exterior point. So those segments are going to be congruent from the exterior point to the point of tangency. So these two are congruent. These two are congruent. And then these two are congruent. So 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3. So that's 10 plus 8. It's 18 plus 6 is going to be 24 centimeters is going to be your perimeter. Okay, same thing then for these. So if this piece here is 16, that means this one here is going to be 16. This one to here is 9. That means this one's also 9. 6 to 6. And then if this one's 8, this one is also 8. Okay, then you can add those all up. 32 plus 18 is 50, 62, 78 centimeters. Just add up all the pieces for the perimeter. And then 15 and 16, or 15 is pretty much the same. Okay, so that's the tangent lines worksheet. Let me know if you have any questions or need any assistance further than this. I will be glad to help unless it's on a Sunday night.